The sixth place player was eliminated from Australian Survivor Brains v Brawn II in episode 21. It's time to figure out why Morgan lost.
Morgan, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you.
Morgan was an Olympic sprinter who was slow to play the game from what we saw, or didn't see. I had literally nothing in my notes about Morgan's gameplay for the first 10 episodes. Then as time went on after the swap, Morgan and Kate realized the OG Brawn guys were too tight, so if they stuck with them, the men would vote them out once the brains were gone. Not to mention the way the guys treated them, saying things like the women needed to get dirt on their hands, as if they hadn't even been playing at all. So they approached the Brains women to align for real, and the die was cast for their game as they proceeded on to be the last two Brawn standing. Along the way, there was a brief time when pairs were targeted to be split, and Morgan and Kate were mentioned, but AJ helped prevent it because he felt like he could work with them and they were a shield for him. Plus, they just weren't as threatening as the others, which is another reason Morgan lasted as long as she did. She just wasn't seen as a threat. For a long time, even though she was an Olympic athlete, Morgan was seen as less of a threat than Kate. But the problem is Morgan found herself in an untenable position. She played as if alliances would swing around forever and she'd end up in one, probably with AJ. But he had alliances with everyone, and she didn't realize the one she had was not the one he was going to end up in as the endgame approached. She also didn't help her own cause with anyone else by essentially not playing the game. In the tribal council prior to her last, she even got snotty with Miles by saying he didn't pitch her with a plan, so why should she pitch him? Because you're in the minority group and worried, and he's in the majority and isn't? I don't know if she was just angry about her position or didn't understand it, but either way, that wasn't helpful. Similarly, her telling Kate to write her name down so she'd be voted out obviously didn't help either. It turned out not to matter, but it was an indication of where she was in the game at that point. I mentioned that she wasn't seen as a threat, but that made AJ want her out more, so she wasn't used by someone else and dragged to the end as a goat. We really aren't sure how that vote would have gone down because it became moot when Kate won the surprise second immunity challenge. I know Morgan was going through some other things that she and other people have discussed on social media, and I do feel bad for her because nobody should have to go through that, and it sounds like it impacted her personally, her game, and production should have done much more. But I can only judge what's in the game. And in the game, Morgan never seemed to really get a solid footing that could take her to a win. She found herself outside the majority alliance and didn't know how to get back in. And that is why Morgan lost. Be sure to subscribe so you get the rest of the mini WhyXLost videos for the season, and watch for separate short videos with my thoughts of some of the more interesting or funny points of the game, plus US Survivor and many other shows.